We got lucky with this most recent one, the jalapeno wasabi. I'd only made it in like, a dozen bottle batches, and it was actually, the recipe was a little different than the one that I had made originally. So we had some worries, but we got lucky and it turned out really good with the mass batch. So
Like you said, scaling up is always a challenge, right? Because we have a recipe that we started with that's pretty much a micro batch, and now you need to bump it up to 10 or 20 or however many gallons. And of course, you want to make sure that the flavor is consistent to the smaller batch that you had, because obviously that's where you improve the flavor. One of the things that I've heard that makes sense to me is that I heard from another chef is that recipes are great, but ratios are perfection. If you can narrow it down to, okay, my sauce is 2% salt, 50% vinegar, 40% chilies, or whatever the ratio is, then you use that. Math is a perfect science for the most part. So if you use ratios to scale it up, it definitely helps.
No, that definitely makes sense. But no, going from a 12 bottle batch of this amazingness, I can only imagine you had to have, like, I guess, a little bit of worry, a little bit of angst on if it was going to come out perfect, right? Because, just that little bit that I got to try at North Texas Hot Sauce Fest, immediately my head exploded with the idea of, applying this to, say, going out for sushi night or something like that, because it just, that jalapeno and that wasabi just really kind of riding through is a phenomenal pairing there, and one that I don't know why we hadn't seen it sooner, because it is definitely needed. So kudos there on that thought process.